Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. So I reviewed a PYD Life Tumbler Press several months back, and it was the one that only does one size of tumbler. Now some other tumbler types are becoming more popular, so I wanted to review a second type of tumbler press. This type of tumbler press has interchangeable coils that you can add to do different sizes of tumblers, mugs, whatever kind of blank that you have that would work in a tumbler press. Now, this is a 2-in-1 tumbler press, which means it comes with 2 coils. I am going to link to this particular version in the description below. There are other types of tumbler presses. There's like a 9-in-1, 11-in-1, a 7-in-1. So I will link to the PYD Life website below as well. And if you're interested in any of those, be sure to drop them a message so they can point you in the right direction to purchase. Now, PYD Life did supply the tumbler press as well as several of the blanks I'm using in this video. However, all projects and opinions are my own. So let's talk about blanks first of all. So the first tumbler press I reviewed, and I will drop a link to that review in the description below. If you're on computer, click show more. If you're on mobile, click the arrow to expand the description or swipe up on the video depending on how you're watching. That tumbler press does 20-ounce tumblers and mugs that are around that same size. Now, what is becoming popular right now are these smaller glass tumblers, and these are too small for the first press that I reviewed. So currently, if I did not have this new tumbler press to try, I would have to use my convection oven with shrink wrap to do this type of tumbler. Now, while that works, I find a tumbler press way more convenient, especially for people that are making multiple items to sell. So we're going to review this tumbler press. We're going to take a look at what comes with it. And of course, we're going to make some projects today. So when you open the box, you'll get the tumbler press itself. It will have one of the coils installed. Mine had the small coil installed, and it has the larger coil here, and we will take a look at how to change those out. Then it had a user manual to tell you how to use it, as well as a cord to plug it in. And then there was a Allen wrench, as well as several bolts, which we will be using to change this out. This one is similar in operation to the other one that I reviewed. So the handle, pull it back, it opens up the heating element where you can slide in your tumbler. Now this came with the smaller of the 2 coils installed, which fit these small glass tumblers. So I could put that in there, and I kind of adjusted it already so that it would close tightly around that tumbler. You will notice a gap when the heating element is closed. That means we will need to rotate the tumbler and press each of those twice. There are knobs on the back that you can adjust in and out for various pressures. So you can apply more or less pressure depending on where you have those knobs. You will want to adjust those for different size blanks as well. If you do something that's a larger diameter, you'll adjust it out to fit that larger diameter. If you do something that's a smaller diameter, you'll adjust it in so it'll squeeze around that smaller diameter better. The control panel to control the time and temperature is located on the front of the PYD Life Press. So let's take a closer look at this control panel and how to operate the press itself. I have plugged the machine into this side of the press, and the start button is on this side of the press. It's a green button, and you press it in to start the machine. The machine will start and the display will light up. So you will see over here if you're on Fahrenheit or Celsius. You should be on this screen that shows what the temperature is at. So it's heating up right now, and then it'll be what the time is set at as well. Now if I wanted to change this from Fahrenheit to Celsius, I would press set for 5 seconds holding the button down. You would then see that it is at Fahrenheit with an F here, and you can press it up and down to change it to Celsius if you would like. So I'm going to leave it at Fahrenheit and press set for 5 more seconds to set that on the press. Once that is set, let's change our time and temperature. We'll press set and just press it down and release. The first one, you'll see SP here, and then you'll see your temperature. The maximum temperature is 482 degrees Fahrenheit or 250 degrees Celsius, and you can move these buttons up and down to set it. Then press the set button, and the next it'll say ST, and this is the time. The maximum time is 999 seconds, and you can move this up and down to change the time, and press set when you're done. This will display what the temperature of the actual press is at that moment. As you use the press, you may see a counter down at the bottom, which indicates how many you've made. So that is useful for when you're making multiples to keep track of your order. When you want to reset that, you would just hold this clear button for 8 seconds to reset to 0. As soon as I press the handle down and close the press, the time will start counting down. So in order to stop this, I would need to pull that handle back and pull it back up. If for some reason you're pressing, I want to stop the time, like say I close the handle, it's counting down my time. If I want to stop that time without lifting the handle, just press the clear button one time and that timer will stop. So this has came to temperature with that first insert inside, and I just wanted to note that this portion is cool to the touch. This back portion, also cool to the touch. What is not cool to the touch is this heating element on the inside. So you always want to be careful when you have your hands anywhere around the heating element, and I do recommend heat resistant gloves when operating any type of press. So now that we have the smaller insert heated up, let's make some of those smaller projects before we change the insert out to the larger size. Each of the tumblers is prepped in the same way, so we'll just go over one. So do we want to remove the top, any straw, that type of thing. And then you want to clean the tumbler well. I generally use a lint roller. You could definitely use rubbing alcohol. Just be sure that it's completely dry before you put it in your tumbler press. Once you have your tumbler completely clean, you have your sublimation print. So this is sublimation ink printed with a sublimation printer on sublimation paper. And I went ahead and trimmed it to size. So you can just use a paper cutter or scissors if you're good at cutting straight, and trim it to the size, both for the height of your tumbler as well as the right width. So when you wrap it across, I like to have just a very small overlap, but that is completely up to you. To get it straight, I like to set it on my work surface, wrap it around, and if the print touches the work surface all the way around, I know it's straight. And then the other thing it needs to be is really tight onto your tumbler. So I just like to pull it really tight. And then you'll need heat resistant tape, and we're going to tape this into place. So pull tight and tape. And I just like to go all the way up the seam, pulling tight and taping. Then I like to tape all the way around the top and all the way around the bottom. So we'll just add tape, fold the tape over, and do that all the way around the bottom. So now I have my bottom completely taped, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat that same process on the top. So adding the tape and folding it over. So I just find this gives me my best results. You might find that you don't have to use this much tape. I just like to be fairly cautious and use the tape to hold everything into place. And once you have the top all taped, I like to add protective paper around the outside. To all of my preferred supplies in the description below the video. So on computer, you can click show more. On mobile, swipe up on the video or click the arrow to expand the description, depending on how you're watching. So we'll just get this protective paper around here. All this does is protect your press in case any of that ink decides to come out. And that's it. So this tumbler is ready for the press. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the rest of my tumblers, and then we'll start pressing. So the press is heated up and ready for our first tumbler. I do recommend heat resistant gloves because we will be flipping this. So the recommendation on this first one is 356 degrees for 120 seconds. Flip it, press again. I like to do it with the seam side where I can see my tape, just so I can keep up with where it's at. And I've adjusted this to approximately the pressure I want, but you can loosen it as you press or tighten it. And then once you press the handle down, it will start counting down. You will notice there's a gap here. That's why you roll it and press it for another 120 seconds, because you want the whole tumbler to be heated. Remember, this is the small heating element. We're going to do these small blanks first. Then I'll show you how to change the heating element out, and then we'll switch to the larger diameter blanks. So it does ding when the time is up. We're going to lift this handle. I'm going to roll it over those tape lines approximately in the back. shut this back, and press it again, same time, same temperature. To find the time and temperature for any blank you're using, look on the manufacturer's website first. So for these, they're from PYD Life. I looked on their Amazon listing. They had a video with the right time and temperature. I always recommend starting there if possible. I'm going to remove this one, put it on a heat-resistant mat. My next one is 360 at 120 seconds, so I'm going to adjust the temperature up slightly. And then we'll go ahead and add this next blank, and I'll just kind of adjust the pressure as I add it in. So that's about right for this one. And you might notice that these screws are almost all the way out. That means if I want to go any larger than this blank, I will need to change this coil out. So as soon as this one's done, I'll turn the press off, allow it to cool completely, and then we'll change this heating element. Then we'll just open this up, again roll it over, press once again. Now I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, allow it to cool down, and then we'll take a look at changing this heating element. So while that cools off, let's go ahead and take a look at our results so far, which is my favorite part of sublimation. Now you can start to see that gorgeous design on that glass tumbler. There you have a super cute sunflower glass tumbler. And here's the reveal of that next tumbler with a super cute lemon design on it. So let's take a look at the tumblers I've made so far using this press. So here's that lemon design with the bamboo lid and the glass straw. Here's the sunflower design that you just saw with the sunflowers on the glass. And again, I added the bamboo lid to it. Then this tumbler actually has different leaves on it, and this color is on the tumbler itself. And I'm going to do another one of these as well, but it comes with the color at the bottom, and then you sublimate over the top, and that color sort of peeks through your design, and it makes a really cool effect, and it comes in different colors as well. So these were all three with the smaller of the two heating elements in the heat press. So now that my heat press has cooled off, let's change those elements out and look at how to do larger things with this heat press. Now let's change out this heating element. So we're going to loosen the screws, and I kind of find it easier to have the handle closed to loosen the screws, and then we'll just loosen all the screws on the existing coil, and then we're going to slide it out and add the new one. It does come with extra screws, so if you lose any of these, shouldn't be a problem as long as you don't lose more than 3 or 4. So we'll just remove this, and sometimes you gotta kind of move the handle, it gets off a little bit, and the screw gets tight, and I just kind of move the handle to get that loose. Then once all the screws have been removed, we can slide out this heating element. Just open that handle up and then just sort of lift up. Then we need to disconnect it. So over here on the side, we'll need to disconnect this. Now this does need to be unplugged. I did not say that before I started, but unplugged before you start this process. And we'll just pull out the plug from the side, and you can just set this heating element aside. Then we're going to add this larger version. So we're just going to slip it into the press, take the same cord, plug it up, and you should just be able to align the plug with the plug in the machine. Press that in and tighten the nut. There are a variety of screw holes on the press itself, so you just want to align it with those holes, and I'm going to start on this side. Just start aligning it with the holes and just get them about hand tight at first. And then we can line it up on this other side. Again, just depending on the heating element, it may be better to have it closed. And then we'll just line up the holes on this side and add the screws once again. Once you have all the screws, you just want to go through each one, make sure they're tight now. And just hand tight, you don't need to use anything. And now we can plug this up, heat it up, and make some larger tumblers and even mugs. So let's make some things. I did the same process for these tumblers, adding them to the tumbler press at the right time and temperature, flipping them over and pressing from the other side. And here's a closer look at everything we made. So this is another glass tumbler. However, the diameter is larger, so I needed that larger piece. I didn't do a great job on the seam. Was not the press's fault. I didn't get my picture lined up, but otherwise this tumbler looks amazing. This is another one that's pink at the bottom from the manufacturer. So I did not add that pink with sublimation. It was pink at the bottom. I added like the donut print. Then I of course needed to try a 20-ounce skinny tumbler. It worked great. Again, my fault on the seam. I get seams right about half the time. So that's where I am on expert level of seams. But otherwise this one looks amazing. Super happy with the way it turned out. Then I wanted to press a couple of mugs, and I love this mug. Like, it is gorgeous. The only thing, I think I would keep it further away from the handle with this mug press. I think it faded a little bit too much for me close to the handle, but otherwise everything looks great. I just think I'd keep it a little bit further away from the handle the next mugs that I made. And here's that second mug, because everyone needs a donut mug in their life. Again, this one looks great, but I probably would keep it a little further away from the handle on the next run. Alright, so now that I've used the press, made all this stuff, bottom line, what do I think? So I do like a press for tumblers. Now, if you were only going to make 1-2 tumblers a year, maybe something like the oven method would work. You can use a convection oven. It's more time consuming, takes a little bit more practice, but it definitely works if you're going to only make a few a year. If you're going to make more than that, you're making tumblers to sell, etc., I really think a tumbler press is a pretty good investment. It makes them quick and super easy to make. I do like that I can change this one out. I feel like these glass tumblers are getting super popular, and this is definitely way too skinny for the other tumbler press I had. That was just for the 20 ounces. So I will link to this tumbler press so you can see what diameter ranges it presses. That way you'll know, like, I have this super special sublimation blank that I always make. Will it fit in this tumbler press? All that information will be on that listing for you. I don't want to misquote, or if things change, I don't want this video to be outdated. So I will link to that so you can head to the listing itself to see the diameter ranges of each of the heating elements, so you know exactly what you're getting when you order this tumbler press. Overall, I think it did an amazing job on every single project I had. I would say on the mugs, I would keep the design a little further away from the handle. I wasn't exactly sure how far to keep it away, but I think I would go a little bit further away with the design on the handle with the larger mug. So that was like a 15-ounce mug. If you had the 12-ounce mug, it would probably close up more and it wouldn't be an issue. So you might have to experiment with that a little bit, but otherwise, especially like these full wrap things, perfect every time, except when I messed up the seam. But I did not all of them. So you can see that I am okay on seams, like 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 is not bad for seams for me. I feel like seams take so much practice, and I am just not there yet. I've had tons of people purchase the other one I recommended, and I've had raving reviews from them, and I think it has like 4.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon. This is a new design, so it has a control panel on the front instead of on the side, and I like that. Makes it a little bit smaller and compact, not as big and bulky with the control panel hanging off the side. So I did like that feature of this new design. This design also doesn't have the double adjustment. So before there was adjustment knobs in the back and the front on my other tumbler press, and it was like 4 knobs to adjust. Could be a little tricky. I did like the 2 knob adjustment versus the 4 knob. I did like that portion as well. So the improvements they've made to the press, I'll give those 2 thumbs up as well. So I do think that this is a good press. If you're in the market for a tumbler press for 20-ounce tumblers, consider this one. That way you can change it out, up your game a little bit with some glass tumblers. Like, these are my new favorite thing. So I will link to all the supplies that I'm using as well. The glass tumblers, the little the small glass tumblers, all of the supplies, as well as the designs I used. All of that will be in the description below. Just head there for any of the links themselves. Otherwise, drop down below, ask me any questions that you might have about the tumbler press or how to make any of these tumblers. If you like this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.